I only ever really talk about Dr. Byrne with James Devlin, and so I always assumed that, were he ever to come back into my life, it would be through him. I was wrong. He came via the Toy Show. The Late Late Toy Show is an annual Irish TV event where small children review the year's best toys and advise other children what to put on their Santa lists. It's a big deal if you're a child in Ireland, and a bigger deal if you're an Irish adult who lives abroad. It's a hard thing to explain to outsiders. This in itself is part of the appeal. Either you get it or you don't. You're either one of us or you're not. Perhaps it's because so many people claim Irishness that we keep putting our private jokes on higher and higher shelves, so you have to ask a member of staff to get them down for you. All over the world there are group screenings where Irish adults cheer for 5-year-olds testing out Polly Pockets on live TV. I'm an editor at the Hibernian Post, a newspaper for the Irish in Britain. It's my job to write about expat movements, and therefore it is my job to write about the toy show. Are you sure? Angela says. I don't want to send you out in the cold all the way into Soho 3 weeks before Christmas. I'm fine, I say. I don't want to sound like that colleague, she said, but in your current condition, I'm grand, honestly. I rub at the dome of my stomach, having just recently settled into a period of relative calm in my pregnancy. The rough nausea and perilous uncertainty of the early months had made me feel like I was in the first stages of a long whaling voyage. I had, after all, miscarried before. But by month 7, I have reached a kind of plaintive ocean madness. I cannot imagine land. As far as I am concerned, I am going to be pregnant forever. I make my way to the Soho bar that has for one night only become a haven for the homesick. I used to come to a lot of these expats nights out, arranged around referendums and demands for change. I cared a lot. I was invested. I was also making great money. English papers were running a lot of features on the Irish fight for abortion, and I was one of the people they commissioned to write them. I interviewed campaigners, people from Mary Stopes, people who had lost daughters or wives to complicated childbirth, and a doctor that refused to act on behalf of the mother. It was a blip of a moment where being an Irish journalist in England actually meant something. I went to protests and I ended up at parties afterwards. My contact list heaved with people who I would drunkenly promise something to, some form of coverage that was utterly not in my jurisdiction to provide. My phone still clings to them now, 4 years and an iPhone upgrade later. Ciara, repeal. Siobhan, repeal. Aisling, repeal. Donncha, repeal. Strangers to each other, but briefly connected to a family tree of people who all wanted the same thing, and now that we have it, we have almost nothing to connect us at all.